Hello everyone, Liliana from Vanilla and Canela here. Welcome back to my channel and to another video. So today I am going to be answering your questions whilst folding laundry. Please bear in mind that at all times I have a baby with me and also my other son's here. He's on half term this week, so he's home as well. He's just on the sofa entertaining himself for a little bit, but you might hear them both throughout this video. So let's get started. So yesterday I asked you, well, yesterday for you was early this morning, I asked you to send me your questions so I could answer them whilst I fold some clothes. So let's do that, shall we? Are you going to make this hard for me? Hey, little dude. So the first question is from Sona Sami. She asks, hey, your music choices are lovely. I was wondering where you get them from. Now, I get asked this all the time. I subscribe to Epidemic Sound. I think anyone can subscribe, but it's basically people that have YouTube channels or Instagram. Sorry, I just thought he was being sick. Or Instagram, or basically that require music can subscribe to Epidemic Sound. I pay a fee every month and then access a huge library of music. So that's where I get all my music from. Next question, let's see, comes from Claire Bird. How long have you been with your husband and where did you meet? I've answered this question before, but it's fine, you know, it's always fine. I understand that people subscribe at different times, so I'll quickly answer it again. I have been with my husband for 17 years. We were discussing not long ago. Married for 16. I've known him for 22, and we met when we both started working for the same company within 3 weeks of each other. We were friends for about 5 years before we got together as a couple. So yeah, that's how we met and how long we've been together. So Lorna says, hello Liliana. Hi Lorna. Just wondering, with planning like Christmas or when you were preparing for Oscar, do you make lists, etc., or do you keep it in your head? I am getting so forgetful and find that I have to write everything down. As always, you're so inspiring and seem to have everything under control. Please share your wisdom. Hugs to Oscar and Alex and your fur baby. Thank you very much, Lorna. You're so kind. And by no means is it wisdom. It's just survival, isn't it? That's what it feels like most of the time. So, and yes, I am a list maker. Not as much as I used to be when I used to work full time outside the house. First thing I did every day when I got in the office was make a list of things that I wanted to get done that day. And I always found that it helps a lot, because otherwise the lists are in your head and you forget. I see that I forget so many things these days. It's not been helped by my age, but also they say baby brain, and I think that is a real thing. It's just your thoughts are everywhere, aren't they? And so yeah, I do believe in lists. I am a list maker, and I find that if I don't make lists, I'll forget. You're not going to stay, are you? Oh, okay. So let's take a break. I haven't even done any folding, but someone needs his mummy. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Let's try this again. Probably have like 5 minutes. He's in his little chair. Let me show you. He's playing a little bit. So let's see if I can get some stuff done. So thank you, Lorna, for your question. Next is Kathy. Hi, Kathy. The cookies look wonderful. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Question. You might have already answered this, but is Paul making a career in the service? Do you think they will move you guys again? Okay, so Paul has been He's a serving person for 19 years. His contract is until 22 years. And what happens if you serve for 22 years, you actually get your pension straight away. So no matter what, we're staying, or he's staying until he's 22, because he'll get his pension straight away. So he'll be 47, and yeah, so that's it, really important. And then he gets an option to stay until he's served 30 years, and we still haven't fully decided, to be honest. We're going to go with the flow, see where we're at, where the world is at in 3 years' time, to be honest, because we know, you know, what's happened this year. We have a couple of friends, one that landed on his feet, you know, came out, finished and came out and to a job, and, you know, everything is dandy. But we also know of cases where it's been a lot harder to find a job because COVID. Now, I know in 3 years' time, hopefully, you chatting, hopefully we'll be over it, but it's nice to have an option to stay. If the market for work is not great, Paul can stay, and then he'll stay until he's 55. And by the way, I'm exactly the same age as Paul, so I'll be 55 as well. Now, the other thing is, Alex will be 18 at that point, at the 30-year point. So the 30 is something that's appealed to us, because then Alex could either go to university or go to work, you know, whatever, but he will be a grown-up. So that has changed, because obviously we have Oscar now, so Oscar would be 11, I think. Is it 11? Yeah. It's just chatting away. Are you chatting? So we have that to consider, but nevertheless, yeah. Nevertheless, I lose track of what I was saying. Nevertheless, it's an option for us. So we're gonna, to be honest, we're gonna wait and see. We're gonna wait until, for sure, Paul's done his 22, okay? And then we'll see. We'll see what we want to do then. So this could potentially be our last posting, or if he stays to 30, then we will be moved again for sure, I think. For sure, we would be moved. Our posting here is for 5 years, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And I don't know how I feel about it. Part of me would love to live in my own home. If you don't know, we have a house in Portugal which we rent out, but we've never lived there and probably never will. Our intention was to move out there when Paul had finished his 22 years. We would move out there and retire. Paul could retire out there when we were 47. And that would have been if I was working full time for all these years, and because we weren't supposed to have kids, because my fertility issues, that was going to be the way we were going to go. But obviously we had Alex. Immediately that changes everything. And now we have Oscar as well. So, oh, there's a stain. I'm going to need to sort that out. Yeah, so that changed our plans. We still have the house in Portugal. Like I said, it's being rented out, and we'll decide what to do with the house when we decide what we want to do with the rest of our lives. So, but we were talking recently of maybe staying until the 30 years. Yeah, and then just selling the house in Portugal and buying somewhere here, depending on where the boys were, what Alex was doing. I think I'll always want to be close by if I can. So yeah, that's pretty much the answer. So yeah, he has made, I just said yes many times. He has already made this his career. He's been doing it for 19 years. Potentially, he's definitely going to do it for 22 and then potentially 30, potentially. Okay. Thank you for your question, Kathy. Fiona says, I think, Fiona, you asked me this question the other day and I completely forgot to answer. I'm interested to know if you've always been tidy and organised, even as a child, or did it evolve over time after leaving home and later getting married? Well, I thought my interest for, say, home decor has started once I had my own home, once I got married. But my mum pointed out that even as a teenager, when I used to move stuff about in the house, in my parents' house, I would change the decor and move furniture. So I've always had that in me to, I've always enjoyed that side. I was not as tidy, no. I started doing housework very young. Well, I consider young. I was maybe, I don't know, by 10 I was already like doing dusting and things like that. And then I was doing the dishes and all of that. My mum always made me do that. I appreciate it now because I know how to do everything, but at the same time, I wish I hadn't had to do it so young, and I would have enjoyed more being a child. But anyway, that's not the question. The question is, have you ever been this? No, I think that definitely is something that's evolved as I got older. And the thing is, I see myself as quite lazy. The thing is, I don't like a dirty house or unorganized house. So I've developed many tricks to keep my house looking tidy and clean, and many easy ways of cleaning so I don't have to do it for hours and hours. I know it might appear to you that I do it for hours and hours, but I really don't. My daily tidying up routine, I could get it done, the whole house, in less than half an hour, and then I could sit on the sofa all day. Most days I don't, but I could, that's how it is. But yeah, did I answer that question? I hope so. Thank you for your question, Fiona. Let me see if we've got any more. Apart from drawings, does Alex like making things like craft or building things? And are you a knitter? So, the answer to both those questions is no and no. Okay, so Alex does not enjoy crafts very much. No, or building. He likes Lego, so he builds stuff with his dad, I guess. You could consider it building stuff, couldn't you? But, he's not like a crafty, lots of glue everywhere and scissors and paper and, nah, he's not that kind of thing. He loves anything to do with animals, so he watches a lot of documentaries and things like that. And actually, one of you said in your comments when you saw Alex's drawings that we should get him some pastels and some special stuff. Well, his dad has got all of that, but we also got him this. Let me show you. We got him this set, which, as you can see, he's working on some more artwork. Look at that. But we got him this set from The Works. It's fantastic. It closes, and we also got him that's a different set of like pens and stuff that he can draw with from The Works. And he loves that. That's like his artist set. He has tried some of the paint, but he really enjoys the pencils. But yeah, like I said to you, his dad has got, let me show you. Let me see, is it all in here? This is Paul's craft cupboard. So he's got, look, paints, and he has got loads of pastels. I think they might be in here. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, he does do that kind of stuff with Alex, but crafts per se, you know, like lollipop sticks and glue and glitter. No, he's not really interested. And am I a knitter? The answer is no. My mum was a master crochet. I say was, she's still alive, but she doesn't do it anymore. Her sight is not that great and she's got a little bit of arthritis in her hands, so she doesn't get to crochet anymore. But she was a master at it, so good that she used to do it to sell, you know, like she made a little side income of that. She would make quilts for the beds, like outrageous, beautiful, beautiful stuff. I can't believe she did all of that, and she was very, very good. But although I did learn and I could do a little bit of crochet, like the basics, I haven't done it in years, and it's not something that I enjoy. I would have loved to have learned how to sew, and I almost did, but then it just didn't happen. I don't think, I'm not actually that good. I'm not very patient when it comes to things like that. So I want something quick. I want it done. You know, I can't spend hours on hours and like sewing stuff. I don't have the patience. So the answer is no, basically. I could have just said no, couldn't I? Okay, and that is it for now. I'm finished with this load. I'm just going to put it to the side, and I'm sure other questions will come through, and once I have more washing dried, I'll come back. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Oscar's asleep. For how long, nobody knows, but let's crack on. So, next question is from Irene. Question is, when you were younger, did you imagine yourself as a stay-at-home mum and wife? What are your favourite things about it? Thanks for sharing your daily vlogs. I'll miss them so much. Oh, thank you, Irene. Thank you. So, the answer is, make sure you guys are... No, I did not. The last thing I ever wanted to do was to be a stay-at-home mum. I wanted children, but I never thought that I would be staying at home. For me, it was all about career, and that was very much the case until I had Alex, and then I stayed at home after having him, and I just realised that I loved it. I grew up, you know, bearing in mind, things are very different in Portugal now, but when I grew up, it was under the women's jobs as not as important as men. Men are the main earners of the house, and they are also the king of the house. Sorry, move you a little bit more there. The king of the house, and you obey them, not in a like, how can I say that with, I know that sounds awful, and it was awful for me. I grew up with fancy ideas that I would be my own woman and that I would never depend on a man for anything, you know. My mum and dad have a very traditional marriage, where my mum worked sort of part-time, but my dad was like the main earner, and he was the one that, you know, my mum made sure that dinner, she still does, dinner's on the table for 8 o'clock every night, you know, and my dad just strolls in and sits down, all that kind of stuff. And I never wanted that. I always felt that my mum was not an equal to my dad, and I never wanted that. I wanted someone who was a partner, you know, 100% at the same level as me, that he never had any power over me. Anyway, you guys see where I'm heading with this. And yeah, so, and funnily enough, I remember having a boyfriend when I was a teenager, and he was kind of that traditional macho man, you know, very traditional. He's a nice person, and my family really liked him. And I remember my mum saying, oh, you know, you'll do as your husband tells you kind of thing. And me saying, no, one day I'm going to find a man who is going to treat me like an equal and who is going to know my worth. And this, I said this in front of my dad, you know, it's not that my dad mistreated my mum, it was just a different time and a different way of doing things. So when my dad met Paul, he liked him straight away. But then on my wedding day, he did a little speech for me and my friends, and he told me that that he remembered that conversation when I was 16, and that I had indeed found a man that was worthy of me and that treated me equally. So my intention was always to have a career, which I did, and then I had Alex and stayed at home. And I knew by then I loved entertaining, I loved cooking for other people and keeping the home. I enjoyed that, but that was secondary to my job kind of thing. I had at times I had a cleaner when I worked full time. So I liked having a tidy house, I just didn't have the time, and the work came first kind of thing. So when I had Alex, I realised just how much I enjoyed being a homemaker, and Paul realised just how much he enjoyed having a wife that was a homemaker and a stay-at-home mum. Things changed, right? We had a lot less money, but we didn't need as much money. I didn't need to buy fancy clothes, you know, suits for work, or we didn't need a second car. We didn't need to pay for petrol for the second car, all of that, you know, and you adapt to having less money. And when Alex was at school, I had a little job at the school, if you guys remember. You might remember if you've been with me. So I just worked during lunchtime, being a lunch lady, which I never thought I would do because I was so focused on having a career and, you know, all of that. So, and I loved just having that little job. And now YouTube gives me more money than I made in that part-time job at the school. So I'm at home, I'm able to stay at home. And as a military wife, that's super important, because we move and we lose jobs, and then we have to explain to employers that, yeah, we've moved and we will move again, and why they should invest in training us when we are going to be on the move again. So there's that. The YouTube means that I can stay at home, and I would be able to stay at home even without the income that I get from YouTube, but I like having something to do, and it's something that I really enjoy. And I can't believe that people watch my channel to watch me fold laundry and chat to me. So that is pretty amazing. I love being at home. So the question, sorry, I do rattle on. I do really enjoy being at home. I don't miss the money, even though I earned quite well. That money, we did loads of holidays, and we travelled, and we had our car was brand new. We had this car now for 10 years because we bought it pretty much brand new. I think it had like 200 miles on the clock. I would never buy a brand new car. I say never, but you know what I mean? Like, by the time Alex came along, we fully owned that car. We didn't have that expense anymore, so we just kept it. And yeah, we just made cuts and adjustments, and if I can, I will keep doing what I'm doing. And I love being here for my children. Alex actually said to me once that he loves that I pick him up from school and that he doesn't have to go to after school clubs. And this is not a thing to anyone that works full-time or part-time even, that has to put their children in after school care. I have a lot of respect for you for doing that. So yeah, anyway, I enjoy being at home. That was the question, right, Irene? I've been rattling on for 8 minutes. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this is not a question, but I just have to give a shout out to Fran. If you guys look in my comments, she comments every time I put a video out. Her name is Frances Raffle, but she signs off as Fran. I love your stories, Fran. Fran always writes a long message, a long comment, and she'll tell me how she can relate to something I've said or something I've done, and she'll tell me her story, and I just love that. Thank you, Fran. So if you ever, and I know some of you actually interact with her sometimes, which I love, but hey, Fran. Now, Christine Roberts says, hi Liliana and Oscar, your skin looks amazing. Please could you share your skin routine with us? Now that is something that I never thought anyone would say. I have a lot of damage, sun damage on my skin, and it's also a hormonal problem. As you can see as well, I have like dark rings around my neck and also skin tags. This is all due to a hormonal problem that is caused by PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome. It comes in many shapes or form. I have it quite bad, you know, so hence why I never thought I would have children. But for you to say that my skin's looking nice, and it is looking much better than it did, and what it is, I couldn't tell you. It's since having Oscar, seems to have cleared up. I remember with Alex, I got marks all over my forehead, you know, like this, but here, in Portuguese we call that pano, but I don't know what you call it in English. And this has been here for years, and I've got, look, some sun damage here, and I have been now for years trying to clear the mistakes I made when I was younger by using lots of SPF, always SPF. I'm still on the lookout for the perfect SPF thing. I've tried so many different ones and have so many different ones. And my ideal one would be one with a little bit of colour, that moisturised, that didn't leave a white cast, and that made my skin look amazing. But that's not what my routine is. My routine, basically, always clean my face at night and in the morning, always. At night I use squalene cleanser from The Ordinary. The Ordinary is kind of a life-changing thing for me, for my skin. The Ordinary, I use the squalene cleanser and then put just some moisturizing cream. Someone pointed out to me once that you don't actually need a night cream, all you need is a moisturizer. So the night cream thing doesn't necessarily work. I use whatever, as long as I feel like it's moisturized. That's all I care. At the moment I've got a Nivea, and it is a night cream because I was basically, one of the things that happened after having Oscar was that my skin was really, really dry. If you can hear him in the background, he's still sleeping, but I don't think for very long. But anyway, super dry to the point it was hurting and it was cracking by sort of my eyebrows. It seems to have settled a bit more, and I was drinking plenty of water. Don't worry about that. But anyway, so I always moisturize at night. A big mistake that I learned again a couple of years ago, I went to a specialist, was that I've always had really oily skin, so I thought I didn't need to moisturize. The more cream if I put cream on, it would get worse, and it's actually the opposite. Your skin produces more oil to sort of make up for the fact that you're not moisturizing, if that makes sense. So anyway, in the morning I just use a cloth, you know, like a towel, little face towel, warm water, and wipe my face and put moisturizer on with SPF. At the moment I really I really like SPF. I'm using an Avon one that has a bit of a colour. I like that. And moisturiser, I just bought some from Aldi, but I was using Nivea as well. I mean, if you guys really wanted, I could show you what I have. Maybe I'll show you in a different vlog, just quickly in the morning, me putting my face on, which is literally slap on some cream and off we go. Again, I've rambled on for another 5 minutes, sorry. Okay, Christine, I hope that's all right. Okay, so next question's from another Christine, this time Mackenzie. Christine Mackenzie, do you keep in regular contact with your family in Portugal? And when possible, are you able to visit each other before COVID restrictions? Okay, so yeah, I do. So if you don't know, I've still got, that sounds awful. I've got a mum and dad, and I've got a brother. That's our immediate family. I do have an extensive family on my mum's side. My mum had 7 brothers and sisters who were all married and all had children. Some of them have now their own children, etc. So you get it, right? It's a massive family. I always say, if you've ever seen my big fat Greek wedding, my family's like that. Okay. Big, loud, in your face, but very loving and caring for each other. But my immediate family, my mum and dad and my brother, I don't see them as much as I would like. Before having Oscar, and certainly before having Alex, we used to go to Portugal, me and Paul, maybe 2-3 times a year. We would just go for a quick weekend. Again, different times. And then we had Alex, and again, with giving up a job comes giving up some of your holidays. It's just the way it is, and it's not particularly, you know. And then Alex, he was such an awful sleeper, so we didn't want to, it's not really a holiday when you're away from your home and they're in a different routine. So I haven't been with Alex for many different reasons. I haven't been for maybe 3 years. I think I filmed the last time I went, and we were going to go this year. And then, especially because when I was pregnant, so we intended to go earlier in the year, but then COVID, so that went out of the window. And obviously, yeah, we're hoping to go next year, that's for sure. Okay, so I managed to do another load of laundry. I've got another one coming, so I'm going to wait until a bit later and let more questions come through, and I'll talk to you later. I'm back, everyone. It's now almost 8 o'clock. Oscar's asleep. Alex and Paul are upstairs in his room drawing. Usually they do it down here, but because I wanted to film this video, rest of this video in peace, I sent them up. And I've got my final load of laundry, so let's get this done and let me answer some more of your questions. So, first question, or last one even, what is the machine? Andrea asks, what is the machine you put your mixture in and what does it do? The machine, I get asked this pretty much every time it appears on one of my videos, because it's just not a well-known machine. It is called a Thermomix. Google it. It will tell you everything you need to know. If you just Google Thermomix, you will see. It's too long-winded for me to explain. I love it. I think every home should have one. Thank you, Andrea, for your question. Julia, hi Julia. Julia asks, will I be doing Vlogmas this year? The answer is no, not Vlogmas per se. I intend to do the 12 recipes for Christmas. And by the way, if you have not yet left me an idea and you are from a different country, please do. I would love, they're all sweet recipes that I would like to do. So I want to do 12 recipes in the lead up to Christmas, maybe 2 a week, something like that. And I also intend to do, if I can get it all organized, so I intend to start filming those during the month of November, because obviously I don't want to have 12 desserts in one go for a family of 4. Well, and only 3 of them eat. And let's face it, if it has raisins, only me and Paul will eat it. So anyway, I'm going to start filming it next month, and then have 12 recipes for you. And then I thought I will add things like Christmas house tour, Christmas prep, there'll be vlogs. But basically what I want to do is when Paul finishes work, which is usually around like the 19th, depending on when that falls, I want to be done for the year. And, you know, take the time off, mainly because as well, most of you don't watch it. You know, I know some of you will, but when it comes to Vlogmas, what I found is that towards the end, the views go down a lot because everyone's busy, which is fine. So yeah, I'm not doing Vlogmas, but there'll be at least 12 videos with recipes, which I'm hoping to be fun and also challenging and all of that. But there will be the usual Christmas tour. Last year, I did a winter, decorate with me for winter. Did that before and after Christmas, because I didn't want to put all the Christmas stuff up too soon. God, I should have taken this out of the wash, out of the look at that, and that's so wrinkled. Yeah, so I'll most likely, I intend to do that this year as well. Decorate for winter. So I bring in a load of like Christmassy feeling Christmas stuff, but without it being Christmas full on. You guys should definitely check out, if you have not been with me for that long, what I did Christmas. I have a whole playlist, so you can totally check that out. I'll link it above if I remember, but if not, because sometimes when I'm editing I forget. If not, it's very easy to find. Just look through my playlists. Thank you, Julia. Sylvia K, you are not too late. Sylvia says, I'm probably too late due to the time zone, and that's why I waited until later on to do the last lot. This video is probably going to be like an hour long, but 2 questions from Sylvia. 1, what did you spray on your bed when you put the new linens? Febreze? What scent? Okay, so that is the first question. It was not Febreze. It's like homemade Febreze. I basically just put water and fabric softener, and the fabric softener I had in there, in it, that finished. I actually had to refill it today. Was the fairy one. I really like that smell of baby. But the one I put in today was actually the one I picked up from Aldi, and it was like shea butter or something like that. It smells really good as well. So that's question number 1. Question number 2, what exactly is amazing about the Dutch Danish whisk? I did see it in another video, and those people also like it a lot. But what makes it amazing? Better than a normal whisk? I can almost smell the snickerdoodles. Sylvia, they're so good, you must try it. But going back to the whisk, it's the way, right, a normal whisk would not go through dough, okay? It will just, the dough tends to be firm, right? So you can use it to whisk eggs or whisk a cake batter if it's not too thick. This thing will go through bread and let you mix it without you having to use your hands or the dough. It lets you mix it. It just, yeah. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But I'm really happy I got it. I use it when I make, it's really good at getting lumps out as well. Like I make Yorkshire puddings, and most of the times I'll get lumps and I'll just take them, you know, like I'll beat them out kind of thing. But with that whisk, it gets them out a lot quicker. But for sure, I would say the main thing is that you can use it to mix dough, cookie dough or bread dough, and it works through it. Okay. Next question. Let's see. Jackie's new normal. Hi, Jackie. Jackie always leaves me loads of comments as well. Jackie, you say, I've noticed you've not been going to the dollar store, which in the UK is Poundland. Is that for financial reasons? Now that you have another baby? another, you know, another mouth to feed. I think that's what she means. So my question is, do you miss it, or was it to fill time that is now filled with your beautiful baby boy? No, so the main reason why I don't go so much is because of COVID. Basically, I try and avoid it. I can only go when Paul is at home with a baby. I don't want to take the baby to the shops. Mainly because people have no boundaries. You would not believe the amount of times that someone's put their head in to look at the baby, which normally I would not have a problem with. But now I'm like, take a step back. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So I can only go when Paul's at home, so at the weekends. And obviously I avoid going as much as possible anyway, so I don't go as often, though I still love it. And I definitely want, after Halloween is over, I'll give it a couple of weeks or so, and then they'll have loads of Christmas stuff, so I want to check that out. So I'll be going back. And it's the same with B&M, which is also a sort of what should I say, not cheap, but more affordable shop. Or Home Bargains is too far away for me now, so I don't really tend to go anymore. But yeah, so that's why you don't see as many. And you also add, do you feel your life has always had room for Oscar and it's like you've been waiting for him? I felt like that when I had my son, even though we already had 4 girls. I still felt a void that he filled. I hope that makes sense. It does make sense. Now that he's here, I can't imagine not having him around. But I think I'm going to be honest. I've said in previous videos that we weren't going to have any more children. So he was a total surprise. And Oscar, if you're watching this as a grown up, we love you. We would not be without you. You were definitely a brilliant surprise. But yeah, I didn't feel, yeah, I know what you mean with your question, and like I said, I wouldn't be without him, but I wasn't longing. Does that make sense? That sounds awful, doesn't it? I'm not gonna lie. He was a massive surprise, and it took me a little bit of time, but he is very, very loved and very much wanted. So I didn't know I wanted him. That makes sense? I'm going to leave it at that. Denise, hiya Denise, always also leave comments. She asks, I have a question. Do you still love doing YouTube as much as you did when you started? I actually love it more now. I feel a lot more comfortable, which I didn't in the beginning, you know, like all those insecurities. I feel like the video quality is slightly better. I'm not going to say I'm like one of those big vloggers. I'm not. Paul pointed out to me that I should have a microphone for videos like this. So I've asked Santa if maybe he could bring me a microphone. But yeah, I do enjoy it more, definitely now that I feel that there is a place for my videos. I didn't know whether or not they were gonna be watched, and they're still, you know, not at like a huge 100k, a million subscribers or anything like that. But it's really enjoyable. I've made friends, interacting with loads of people that I wouldn't otherwise get to. No, I would say I actually love it more than when I first started. When I first started, I was filled with self-awareness and self-doubt, and now I don't really care. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Now I'm more of this is me, you're watching, thank you. If you don't like me or you don't want to watch, it's okay. you know, I'm still going to do me. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I love it, Denise. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. You guys, I haven't finished. I'm going to quickly finish this, but I'm going to leave you here because I know this is a very, very long video. So thank you. If you are still here right now, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.